Now at 6:30, TikTok is back up and running, but for how long?
I use that as one of my news sources where I can see what's going on in the world.
How local TikTok users are feeling the impact of the app's uncertain future.
Plus, new evacuation orders are in place for parts of Los Angeles as wildfires continue to burn in the city.
We have engines at the houses that are in front of this fire, there to protect those structures.
What fire officials are doing to contain the spread.
And in sports, a look at the TVC as high school basketball teams race to the top of the standings. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, welcome to Newswatch. I'm Jack Green.
And I'm Haley Hollinger. After days of extremely cold temperatures, we are finally starting to see a slight warm up.
Now, Haley, if it were not winter, you might even say it's short weather, but forecaster Lexi Belpolsey joins us with more on tonight's weather. Our area, but could we see a cool down coming?
Yeah, no, definitely. Feeling like shorts weather since it's winter. But right now, actually, it's 28 degrees, definitely warmer than it's been the past couple of days with some overcast skies, which is unfortunately keeping us a little on the cooler side. We were expected to hit about 32 today. I don't think we made it to that point due to these clouds, but we also have that wind chill of about 22 degrees right now. So obviously just still got to take that into account, but we do have that cloud cover hanging out for our entire day today, and that is because unfortunately we do have another cold front making its way through, but don't worry, it is not going to be as extreme as we've had it with this Arctic trough coming through, but we'll get more into that later on in the show. Today we did have a high of 32 with some flurries throughout the day today and a low of 10 degrees. Now tonight we'll have that low of 10 degrees with some possible snow showers. They may be heavier, they could be lighter. Either way, if you're driving, be sure to be aware for slick roads and some possible visibility issues. But other than that, we'll take it to Haley.
Thanks. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost makes waves in the race for who will be the state's next governor.
Yost officially joined the gubernatorial race earlier today in a video posted on social media. Yost has served as Ohio's Attorney General since 2019, and before that, he served as state auditor from 2011 to 2018. He joins a growing list of Republicans looking to take the governor's office in 2026, including Morgan County School Board President Heather Hill.
In a statement, Yost said, "My heart, my home, I work for the people of Ohio, and I love my bosses from the time I get up in the morning until I go to bed at night. I'm thinking about them and our future. Whomever wins next year's election will serve as governor until 2030.
With nearly 170 million users nationwide, TikTok has become a popular social media app for many. The future of the platform in the U.S. remains uncertain, though, after President Trump issued an executive order giving the company 75 days to comply with a law over user data.
Newswatch reporter Morgan Anderson talked to some local TikTokers and joins us live in studio. Morgan, how are these influencers feeling about the app's future?
Yeah, Haley, for one Ohio University student, her day looks a little bit like this. Wake up, go to the gym, attend class, come home, and film content. That's the life of one OU student who has made being on TikTok a business.
Many people have come up and been like, yo, you're the TikTok girl. And I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Ohio University senior Elena Titley has over 37,000 followers on TikTok, an account she started 2 years ago. She uses it to document her everyday life in Athens.
Welcome to the long-awaited college house tour. Come on in.
When the app went dark for around 14 hours earlier this week, she said she was disappointed.
I use that as one of my news sources where I can see what's going on in the world.
Titley has even made it a business through brand deals, filming sponsored videos for brands like L'Oreal, Factor Meals, Shark FlexStyle, and Casetify.
When I hit 10K followers, and I remember it was multiple videos for a specific amount of money, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy that people are getting paid this much to do this.
While Titley says a permanent ban on TikTok wouldn't be the end of the world for her, she does think about how it would impact others who rely on the platform to make a living. But Ohio University freshman Nate Cadill, who films drinking videos while solving true crime cases, has stronger feelings.
I think it is censorship to ban such a huge content creation platform.
And sees the ban as totally unnecessary.
It's a net positive for TikTok to exist, and I don't really care if China has my data. Like, what's China gonna do with my data?
And while Cadell might not care about if China has his data, for all of this uncertainty to end, a United States entity must purchase it in order for the app to comply with the law. Reporting live in studio, I'm Morgan Anderson.
Thanks so much, Morgan. Great reporting. President Donald Trump rescinds a decades-old executive order banning workplace discrimination.
And the law will be replaced by a new requirement that calls for government contractors to confirm they don't have diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Trump is also demanding federal agencies identify targets for federal investigations into their DEI practices to determine if they should be deemed illegal. The president says this will ensure merit-based employment. Critics say the change will result in some companies being nervous about hiring minorities. A federal judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship.
The judge called the order in his ruling today, quote, blatantly unconstitutional. Lee Waldman has more as this legal battle ramps up.
This next order relates to the definition of birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment of the United States.
A court battle is brewing over President Donald Trump's executive order declaring an end to birthright citizenship. But the CEO of the National Constitution Center says the 14th Amendment is clear.
Ever since the amendment was passed in the 19th century, that's been interpreted to mean that if you're born in the United States, you're automatically a citizen, whether or not your parents are here legally.
The 14th Amendment resulted from overturning the 1857 Dred Scott decision, which denied citizenship to black people and upheld slavery in U.S. territories. The executive order keys in on one phrase in the amendment, subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
They're suggesting that if you're here illegally or your parents are here illegally, they have allegiance to a foreign power, in other words, another government, and therefore that you're not a citizen.
Rosen says trying to end birthright citizenship isn't a simple task.
Basically, the Supreme Court would have to change its mind and reject an interpretation of birthright citizenship that goes back more than 100 years.
The executive order aims to end birthright citizenship for children born after it was signed, but Hiroshi Motomura, immigration scholar at UCLA, says he worries about the thousands of people born before.
That creates a precariousness that I think has a real potential to undermine societal cohesion for many people in this country.
And
East Palestine residents ask a judge to lower the payment to appeal the $600 million settlement with Norfolk Southern. Residents involved in the settlement are required to pay an $850,000 bond to continue their appeal. They hope the judge will decrease that payment so they can possibly receive more money and learn more about the contamination related to 2023's train derailment. Nearly $300 million of the settlement is on hold because of the appeal, though a judge approved the deal in September. Purdue Pharma settles thousands of lawsuits in a new $7.4 billion opioid settlement. The lawsuits claim the pain medication OxyContin caused a nationwide opioid crisis. Under this new deal, the company's owners will pay $6.5 billion, while Purdue Pharma will pay $900 million. The settlement also says the Stackler family and Purdue Pharma will not receive immunity from future lawsuits.
A Republican-backed bill with major implications for universities in Ohio is reintroduced in the state Senate. Most notably, the bill would ban most diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the state, as well as ban faculty strikes. It would also ban universities from publicly taking positions for or against controversial beliefs or policies. Those against the bill say that this would limit students' ability to learn and think critically. The bill is currently awaiting a committee hearing. The ACLU of West Virginia says it believes an order from the state's governor to end DEI programs violates the state's constitution. The executive order was one of many West Virginia's newly sworn-in governor signed when he took office last week. The ACLU highlighted a potential violation of free speech for teachers present in the order, saying it could restrict a range of issues relevant to education.
Because this is so broad, it could potentially prevent teaching about Martin Luther King and some of his viewpoints. It could potentially prevent teaching about things like women in combat or even having these conversations.
Governor Patrick Morrisey says he has to make sure all are treated the same under the eyes of the law and with respect and dignity. The ACLU says if the governor's office does not correct the order, the state could face a lawsuit.
Wildfires continue to burn in parts of Los Angeles. The new warnings from officials as firefighters work to contain the spread.
And maternal death rates in the U.S. are unacceptably high, according to health experts. How officials are working to decrease rates nationwide.
And we do have a slight warm cold front coming in this weekend, but will that affect our weekend and our end of our week that much? We'll find out when Newswatch returns.
He was bigger than boxing.
Muhammad Ali was the most important man in the world.
He was larger than life.
His magnetism just was amazing. Who is this guy?
He was a revolutionary. He was a groundbreaker.
What are they going to say about that now, huh?
Ken Burns captures an intimate story of victory, defeat, and determination.
The price of freedom comes high. I have paid, but I am free.
Muhammad Ali.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
Understanding the past gives a sense of the future. This is the first time that anyone has seen this in 2,000 years.
This is amazing.
Well, I'm excited now.
Pompeii is a battle against time.
You think I'm joking, but look at this. It did really happen.
Don't let anybody tell you who you are.
History teaches us to honor the past.
When you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty special.
This is something that's actually altering the course of history.
You're charged with keeping these stories alive.
Good evening, Athens. Currently here is about 27 degrees with those overcast skies. Our winds have calmed down a little bit. Earlier we were getting some 5-mile-per-hour winds, but luckily they've calmed down a little bit, so we don't really have to worry about wind chill anymore. But we do have a bit of a cold front making its way through, unfortunately. Now, it's not going to be anything as crazy as it's been the past couple of days with this little Arctic trough, but it's almost like the last little bits of it. Now, it's just a slight cold front that's only going to cool us down by a little bit, but breath of fresh air from the last few days. Most of southeastern Ohio is actually almost in the 30s. Athens, 28, like we said before. Lancaster, you're at 28. Zanesville and Newark, you're at 27. And even some places in about southwest Ohio and even down here in West Virginia in the 30s. So 10 times better than those highs in the teens and as well as lows in the negatives these past few days. Now today, we did have some snow showers throughout our day today, and we did have an expected high of 32. I'm not 100% sure if we hit that today, as we did have some cloud cover and a low of 10 degrees tonight. With that low of 10 degrees tonight, we still have a little bit of a chance of snow given the fact of how cold it is. So do be aware if you are driving around tonight. Some of those snow bands may be a little heavier than others, creating some light accumulations and slicker conditions on roadways, so do be cautious of that. Tomorrow we're going to start seeing some partly sunny skies. We're going to see the sun again, and with that slight cold front coming through, we are going to really only see a high of 26, so not as warm as today, but not as insanely cold as it has been the last couple of days, with a low of 8 degrees. Now, if we look a little bit more into our surface analysis here, you're going to start seeing some that high pressure system take effect after that cold front comes through tonight into tomorrow, which is going to be the main reason as to why we're going to start seeing some more sunnier conditions and also that slight warm up. We're going to continue to see that going into tomorrow night. We are expected to still have some sunnier conditions, and this will also help keep away some snow. It'll stay a little drier, so we don't really have to worry too much about that as well. And as we go into Saturday, same sort of story. That high pressure is still going to be hanging around. But I do want to highlight this cold front here that's actually going to be making its way through into our weekend. Again, not super crazy like the past couple of days where we had, highs in the teens again. But it is something that we are on the lookout for right now. Now we aren't going to see the ice and snow that places in Michigan will be seeing. But other than that, it will be a decent weekend. As you can see here, we got highs almost in the 40s over the weekend and even hitting the 40s going into our week next week. And that's going to be quite the breath of fresh air after what we've had the past few days.
Yeah, Lexi, I mean, I was saying it before the show. I was like, I never thought I'd be so happy to see 40-degree weather.
Yeah. I saw it like earlier this week. I'm like, oh my gosh, only these 2 days, and then it's like home free, freedom.
Yeah, I mean, just walking outside, it felt like you were in like the Arctic. I mean, I mean, that's the best way to say it.
You're like crying as you're walking to wherever you need to go.
You can't even cry because it freezes.
It freezes immediately.
So it's just, like we said, it's almost shorts weather, relatively speaking, to what we've experienced. So.
Even walking outside today, I'm like, it's so warm.
Exactly.
So it was nice.
It was nice. Thank you so much, Lexi.
Thank you.
It's not over yet. That's what the director of CAL FIRE says about the wildfire crisis in and around Los Angeles. A new blaze is burning about a football field-sized area every 2 to 3 seconds. Amy Kiley has more on the Hughes fire.
We're not out of the woods yet.
Another large wildfire is spreading quickly toward Los Angeles area homes. The Hughes fire is burning in Castaic, a suburb in the foothills and mountains of northern LA County. Tens of thousands of people who live in that area are under evacuation orders or warnings.
This is the closest one so far.
Several area roads are closed, including a stretch of I-5.
So as soon as I heard about it, I figured it was going to be tough to get home, so better to leave early than not be able to get home at all.
The National Weather Service is extending its red flag warning into tomorrow. It applies to most of LA and Ventura counties. The service says Santa Ana winds have been pushing the Hughes fire southwest.
We have engines at the houses that are in front of this fire, there to protect those structures.
Officials say the good news is it's been less windy than when the Palisades fire began. They say that's allowed a consistent aerial attack on the Hughes blaze. They add that having thousands of resources in the area allowed for a fast response. Firefighters are starting to get a handle on the Palisades and Eaton blazes, but the director of CAL FIRE says this new wildfire shows the crisis is ongoing.
And as we continue through these weather conditions, we recognize that it's not over yet. We recognize that we still have a couple of days to go.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Experts are calling the maternal death rate in the U.S., quote, unacceptably high, since the rate is larger than any other high-income nation in the world. And sadly, many of those deaths are preventable. For every 100,000 live births in 2022, there were about 22 maternal deaths, with Black women being the most affected. But Dr. Sarah Sams with the American Academy of Family Physicians says establishing care early on in a pregnancy is critical, but not everyone has easy access to that care.
It's an ongoing concern, and we're doing lots of things to try to bring those numbers down and get us into a better space.
Sam says since many maternal deaths happen up to a year after birth, she says postpartum care is critical for new mothers.
We have an important recall to tell you about tonight. Thousands of space heaters sold on Amazon are now under a recall because of a risk of fire and electric shock. The recall is for nearly 8,000 Vornado brand VH2 whole room heaters with date codes of July or August 2024. The heaters sold for about $90 on Amazon between August and October 2024. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the device's power cord can partially detach from the heating enclosure, leading to cord damage, posing a risk to electric shock and fire. The agency says consumers should stop using the heaters and contact the company for a free replacement.
Next in sports, from River Valley High School, there's a crucial TVC Ohio Conference matchup, and that could set it up for a title matchup next week. Plus, a preview of all games in and around the TVC tonight. All that and more coming up next.
I'm so glad to be here. There's nothing like it.
To what do I owe this pleasure?
I had hoped for the opportunity to dazzle.
Dazzle? How does that sound, wee man?
What a treat. I'm starting to enjoy myself.
I thought you said you could cook.
Well, I lied. It's good to have everyone back together.
Sunday on WOUB.
In hospital, you deal with cases. On the district, you deal with people. When mothers come to us, they bring everything they are with them.
There's nothing nicer than a fresh start.
You have done your best. Sometimes our best must be enough.
We're gonna take good care of you. We're with you now.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Welcome back. It's time to talk about some girls' high school basketball. Alexander girls head coach Morgan Grinstead is coming off of her first winning season as a head coach, improving from only one win in her first year. Under Grinstead, the Spartans have completely changed the program, including implementing a new culture. Josh Herner has more.
They bring a lot of intelligence to the game, to our practice. You know, they're always helping out, especially like the incoming freshmen, trying to know our system and stuff.
The players coach Grinstead is talking about our senior McKenna Moore, junior Kaylee Hudnall, and sophomore Lily Ryder. These three have been influential to the Spartans' success this season and share a special bond on the court.
Lily pushes me every day, and Ken is the best partner I can ask for in practice. And just having them two right there beside me is awesome to have.
Off the court, having positive relationships is crucial, and Ryder recognizes the importance.
I mean, we're around each other every day. We hang out during the weekends. Like, we're all really good friends. So I would say just being able to go outside out of practice and games and having fun with each other, and I think it brings good vibes to games.
Moore is in her last year with the Spartans, and this season has meant a lot to her.
All the friendships with people, and then I want to continue those friendships, and I want to continue like on the court, like communications and rebounds and stuff.
Now in her third year, Coach Grinstead recognizes and understands the commitment it takes to build a culture.
You know, that sisterhood, that bond, whether we're friends, tight friends or not, close friends, the sisterhood of just playing basketball and going through it every day brings them closer. And, you know, I feel like if you have that, you'll be more successful.
And for the Spartans and all of the other teams in the TVC, it is a crucial time because it's almost tournament time. There are plenty of games on tonight's slate, including a crucial matchup between the Spartans and River Valley. The first time Alexander and River Valley matched up this year, it took overtime until the Spartans pulled away with a 45-43 win. The Raiders come into this game winning 9 of their last 10, playing their best after that loss. The Spartans are currently 6-1 in conference, while the Raiders stand at 5-3. Tip is set for 7 p.m. The Meigs Marauders are coming off of their first win of the season Tuesday against Hannon, and tonight they will play host to Vinton County. The Vikings are coming off a loss last night against Athens, falling under 500 in conference for the first time this season. Vinton County is in the middle of 8 conference games in a row dating back to last Monday. Moving over to the other side of the TVC, where the Waterford Wildcats will play host to the Trimble Tomcats. Trimble is coming off of a great 50-23 win versus Wellston last night and is looking to improve their conference record to over 500. This won't be an easy task as the Wildcats sit at 14-1, not losing in conference this year. First tip is set for 6 p.m. Taking a look at the Hawking, Waterford still sits atop of the TVC Hawking with a chance to clinch the conference for a 5th straight season as early as next week. Federal Hawking and Belpre are currently in 2nd and 3rd place after both teams split the season series. Trimble and Southern both have been great overall records, but are looking to improve in conference. Eastern rounds out the standings. Moving over to the Ohio, the Bulldogs are still undefeated and have the top spot. With a win tonight versus River Valley, the Athens and Alexander matchup next week could give the Spartans a chance for a share of the conference title. River Valley sits in third and gets one step closer to second place with a win tonight. Benton County and Nelsonville York will look for a chance to move into the top 3, while Wellston and Meigs round out the standings. And to stay up to date with all boys and girls TVC hoops, make sure to follow WOUB's Hardwood Heroes on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Episode 2 of Hardwood Heroes will air this Sunday at 11 p.m. on WOUB and the WOUB YouTube channel.
Ahead, a couple in Colorado share a unique moment with their furry friend.
You have unleashed the best storytelling ever.
Migration is freedom to Black America.
There's much about me that you don't know.
Let's go, baby.
The age of dinosaurs still continues.
You didn't know that, did you?
I think we may have solved our mystery.
All of these movements are expressions of hope.
It's better than any movie script I've ever read.
It's an incredible story.
Migration is freedom to Black America.
African American migration was one of the most significant demographic transformations in the history of the United States.
If there's a Black American dream, it's to have the freedom to dream.
That decision to migrate, if that's not transformative, I don't know what is.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow in Las Vegas, Nevada, we've got the biggest find of the season.
You can almost hear the cracking of the helmets in this scene.
And a hunt for treasures with boxes.
Some collectors actually consider themselves to be box collectors more than toy collectors.
I had some interesting toys, but I was never a box keeper.
It's the first time I've ever seen one with the original box.
Watch Antiques Roadshow next time from Springs Preserve.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
There are thousands of discoveries. Wow.
This is huge.
We are making history.
This is really exciting.
Years of hunting as a team means they each know exactly what's expected.
We didn't realize the magnitude of what we were going to be up against.
How are we going to pull this off?
Wednesday on WOUB.
When two people get married, they often want their best friends and family present and by their side. But what about your pet?
Well, Haley, in Colorado, you can give your furry friend the biggest job there is, serving as your witness on your special day. And that's exactly what a couple from Denver did, had their dog stamp their signature on their wedding certificate. The newlyweds were originally supposed to get married in New Mexico in November, but a blizzard forced the couple to rethink their plans.
We kind of joked about it the day before at the vet. And they're like, oh my God, that'd be so great if you guys all came and did your wedding here.
Not many states will allow a pet to serve as a witness, so be sure to double check local regulations before heading off to the altar with your little furry friend. I mean, I don't know if this weekend is great wedding weather. I mean, it's still pretty cold.
It's still pretty cold, and I was seeing near the end of the week still some possible snow, so maybe not an outdoor
winter weddings.
I mean,
that is true.
Some people do, but I mean, hey, the winter is a beautiful time. We got all that beautiful snow, but you just mentioned it, there might be some more snow coming.
Yeah, it's not a huge possibility. It's still like a bit of a week out, but I did see possible flurries in the end of the week. But we are going to see pretty warm weather compared to what we've seen in the last couple of days, with highs getting into the 40s going into next week. So that's going to be really enjoyable.
Well, thank you. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching.
Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night and stay warm.
Support for